They say if you can't stand the heat, well, stay out of the kitchen. Well, I believe I can stand the heat, and I'll be in the kitchen of sorts with my guest today, Chef Marcus Fernandez. I'm Andrea Oliver, and this is Lakeland Now in View. Chef Marcus, what's up?
How are we doing?
Look at I brought my apron
Are
because
you
I
ready?
I was I thought that tonight I
I
was going
brought
to
some
be
pots and pans ready for you.
yeah, I was going to be the sous chef, but here we are in the beautiful Bella Visage, and that tells me I'm going to have to sous chef another night.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's so
Thank you
good
very
to
much.
have you here. Chef Marcus Fernandez, head chef of 1961 Lakeland Restaurant, is our guest today. And
Thank
I
you.
guess I want to start from just like off the bat. What is your passion? What is the passion you have for cooking?
So it's funny because I didn't want to be a chef growing up. That's very hard to believe, but I wanted to be a pilot, and I wanted to pursue my career as a pilot. And that was cut short. My eyesight's really bad, and back then, the LASIK surgery wasn't that readily available.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in college and working, odd jobs. My brother had gotten me a job working for a designer of wood. He designed wood furniture for yachts and built them. And he was Dutch and he was a retired chef. And I went to work for them, and he started showing me all these cooking techniques and talking about food. And I'd go home and practice it. And my friends would show up, and I started getting inspired. And I tried asking my family for support about, I wanted to be a chef, and like, you're crazy, you're going to be a cook, you're not going to make it,
This is not you.
Yeah. So I got an opportunity to fly out to Denver, and I told everybody I was going on a vacation, and I took everything I could, packed every sweater I have. I grew up in Miami, so in Miami, there's definitely, you have one sweater that you use one time, all year long. And that was it. And I went out to Denver and never came back.
And here it was. I thought that cooking skill, those talents were home sitting with abuela.
No, abuela actually cooked a lot, and mom and dad cooked a lot. They both cooked very differently. They were from different parts of Cuba, so the food was very different but very similar. And a lot of people who are from Cuba can understand. And in Jamaica, you get it. Yeah,
yes.
Caribbean.
Caribbean cooking is like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Mom cooks one way, dad cooks another.
Absolutely.
But the flavors are very similar.
Yes.
And I did seek a lot of advice from them going through my career and trying to realize how to. I wanted to get back in touch with my roots, my Cuban roots, and this was back in Colorado.
Yeah. So you are classically trained.
Yes.
You graduated from the American.
Actually, I didn't graduate. I actually dropped out. Yes.
Some of the best success, actually. I mean,
I dropped out
when you're not the number one.
No, I dropped out. I had a great mentor, and went through the CIA program. They call it as an apprenticeship, and I did that instead, and got more training than I ever thought I would from culinary school. 20 some years ago is when I started culinary school, and I felt like I was putting my time in, and my money was well spent.
Yes,
at the time.
It.
Oh, correct. Totally.
What did you like about learning it firsthand from somebody who was actually trained as a chef?
So the difference, and no disrespect to any professors out there, they're very different now.
Careful.
A lot of them, yes. So a lot of the times in those culinary schools, they're just, it's like the one job that they had to get. They don't all have the passion and the know-how or the experience. A lot of them just have textbook experience. Like I said, no discredit to a lot of those professors. There's some out there that are amazing, and they compete worldwide. But with that said, I felt I wasn't getting my money's worth out of the school.
Yes.
And this apprenticeship program really, pushed me through and forced me to appreciate and learn it.
What's really interesting to me, that even amidst learning all the technical stuff, the classical stuff, you have pitched your tent, so to speak,
yes,
right back at your cultural root.
Yes.
You describe your cooking as Latin American flair with a modernist flavor or modernist flair. What exactly do you mean?
So every chef has an identity, or every I would say, chef out there, executive chef that runs their own restaurant or has their own, they have an identity in what they're known for. And I wanted to have an identity. And one chef I mentored, I had said, stick to what you know, and you'll always do great.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
what did I know? I knew Cuban food. I knew Latin food, and my wife is from Peru. And with her, I was able to work for free in many restaurants in Peru as we traveled to visit family back and forth. And as a child, my best friend was Peruvian, and I fell in love with that cuisine. So I said, I really want to learn Peruvian food. I want to learn Peruvian food. I want to learn my food. And then I started saying, you know what? I want to learn Jamaican food. I want to learn Puerto Rican food. I want to start learning Mexican food. I want to learn Brazilian food. And I just started tackling every culture, from the Caribbean all the way down to South America. If you come to my restaurant, you'll see the cultural cockfight.
Yes.
And it's the Mayan, Aztec, Inca, and Caribbean bird are all up there on purpose, because that's where I like to pull my ideas from. But yes, I was classically trained. So from risottos to beurre blancs, to veal glacé, to reductions, all those classical terms.
How has that influenced how the flair that you put on the type of
the
cuisine?
Techniques are there,
Yes.
used on a daily basis, and we teach all our chefs to start from scratch. We make everything from scratch in the kitchen. Every sauce, the dough for the empanadas, the hot sauces, the marinades, we sous vide, and everything has a technique, and everything, all the knife cuts. If you look at our sauces, you can distinguish all the knife cuts are perfectly cut, and we teach that. When they go anywhere else, they get great jobs because they, I force that on my guys. From wiping down to clean plates to garnishes. I'm big on that, and we, like I said, we do everything. All our meats are braised in house.
One of the things I heard you say is that whatever you fix at home, you want to be great at being a chef. You want to be
Yep.
great at your craft.
Yep.
You must take, as a chef, what you fix at home and you do well, replicate that in your restaurant.
Yeah. So I was referring to a friend of mine
Yes.
who wants to open up a restaurant, and I told my friend, she asked me a question, and here I am. I'm already giving too much away. I said, "Do you cook this at home this way?" And she said, "No." So why are you going to cook it at your restaurant this way? If you make it really good at home, then make it really good here. Exactly the same way, the same passion you use at home that made you want to become a chef or open up your own restaurant, cook it here. Cook it that same way. Don't skip a beat.
I have been in your restaurant and I look at faces, and I've been there a few times. In fact, I even came to the restaurant with the person working on this show right now as the producer. And she wanted to just come back there and have you fix her favorite sandwich, which I believe is called the Cubano.
Yep, the Cuban sandwich.
The meals that you make, they resonate so much with people. They just have this way of just bringing out the best. What is it that you think that your food, or you put in your food, that you think that is so touching when people...
The flavor, I really care about that. I want people to bite into it and go, wow, this is so good. So, and it's been difficult to transfer that into my cooks. That same passion, the right amount of salt, the tasting as you go, that same passion. It's hard to teach all my cooks. I have chefs that are really passionate and do a really good job and help the brand grow. But it's that passion. It's when you taste it. I create that in my mind, that image.
Yes.
Like the Cuban, perfect example. We braise that pork and we let it sit overnight to cool down. Then we pull it. But then we make a sour orange aioli to go over the top.
We are all salivating.
Bring it back. But we pickle our own green onions. We also do regular pickles. We use Serrano ham instead of regular ham, Manchego cheese, and instead of mustard and mayonnaise, which one of my friends was saying, hey, I just want mustard and mayo. We do an aioli, sour orange aioli that has the mustard and has that mayonnaise flavor in there. And then we put a little honey butter and press it.
Can we go over to the restaurant?
Yes.
Okay. So
you want to go now?
You have some signature dishes.
Yes.
And I know that depending on who's there at what time, they'll be asking for what. Do you have a favorite dish?
It's funny. I bounce around from my favorite dishes around the restaurant all the time. I used to be an avid fan, and this is crazy because growing up, I wasn't a fan of the ropa vieja because I didn't like the olives.
I think my husband loves that.
and I didn't like peppers and onions as a kid, and I was like, I'll never eat this again after I grow up. And here I am. It's one of my signature dishes at 1961. But I created grandma's recipe,
Yes.
and I remember asking her on the phone, well, what do you use? And she was giving me, sherry wine and laurel, bay leaves, and they call
Yes.
it hoja de laurel and or oregano, basil. I mean, oregano, cumin, and I just made it my own.
The vaca frita.
Yes. Well, the vaca frita. Well, what's special about the ropa is, when we braise it, we don't braise it in water like we were taught. We braise it in veal stock. So it's got this nice beefy flavor. Yes.
Wow.
So it's all about the technique.
You're training a lot of young chefs.
Yeah.
You're helping them at your restaurant. You have people come in. What do you think that you would like to relay to the people that you're helping, wanting to carry this on as a career?
I always tell people, do whatever you're gonna do, but do it the best. Put your best foot forward. If you're gonna be a dishwasher, be the best dishwasher. Because when you're the best, people recognize that. And I tell this to all my staff. Every meeting we have, every time I talk to new staff, servers, if this is just a job, make it the best job you have.
Yes.
Be the best at it, because our community is filled with people that come in and dine there, and they're going to look at you. And that might be your boss you're serving. And it's important. And I always tell everybody, just do your best job. Absolutely. Be the best representative of you when you're at the restaurant. And don't walk over a standard. No.
I've been in there, and as I said, the tone that you've created, the feel, you're going to be served great food, but the service is key, because people,
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you're being served great food, if the service is lousy and you're not welcomed when
Yep.
you're in there, you're not going to go back to a place.
And that's big. That's big for me. Service is huge, and just bringing out that good in you, And I tell my staff all the time, just be yourself. Have a good time. Be yourself. Enjoy it. Guide the customer. Be that confident and guide them through the menu. So we put them through a very rigorous training before they can serve tables, and just because we want them to understand, and have that passion. I put them in the dish pit sometimes to wash dishes.
Learn it from.
Well, I want them to appreciate every position.
Absolutely. It's been a tough year, and
Yes.
the restaurant industry's been hit.
Yes.
Absolutely, because it was part of that shutdown that we experienced early this year. You came back with a boom. To what do you credit your success?
I think the team, rallying the team. I have a great team. I've got to give it back to them. We didn't know what was going to happen, and we rallied the troops, and not one person in my team flinched. They said, "Let's do it." Nobody said, "No, we need to shut down. We need to." We had a staff that obviously didn't come back, and that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
But the core team was like, let's do this. We made a decision. I said, let's stick to our guns. Let's open, do whatever we can, hit the to-go. We even had a taco stand outside, and we were
doing what you needed
everything,
to do.
everything.
Moving forward, you've been at that spot in downtown
yes.
Lakeland since last summer, thereabouts. And moving forward, what is it that you want to be to this community as you represent your homeland, or at least your family's homeland, and your cuisine?
For the community, a place where people can enjoy and sit back and have great food. I love our community. I've been here 9 years, and it's been a blessing to be here. I feel very embraced by the community, and I always want to give back. I've always been taught to give back, and I want to be here for a long time. I want this community to continue to grow and prosper and be good to each other.
Absolutely. Chef Marcus Fernandez, such a joy to have
you
on Lakeland Now in View. And thank you for joining us. Another great guest when we meet next. I'm Andrea Oliver. This is Lakeland Now in View.